Hello, we're going to talk about how I plan for my sewing projects. If this is something you're interested in, please stay tuned. Hello, everybody. I'm going to be talking about how I prepare for my sewing projects. So one of the first things that I do is I look for inspiration, or I may have an idea in my head and I want to bring it to fruition. So one of the things I do to get inspired, or if I just need a little bit help on what I've imagining, I will go to Pinterest. That's one of my favorite places to go and look up whatever it is that I'm thinking about doing. I'll look up, it helps to see if what you want to make is in existence. If it's not, then you would probably just draft something from scratch. But I use Pinterest, I use books, I use magazines that I see. I use the television, I use just people walking around in everyday life. I just use my surroundings a lot of the time for my inspiration. And that's how I kind of get the momentum going for starting a sewing project. So next, once I have figured out what it is that I really want to make and the best way to go around it, I try to match this up with a pattern. And I like being able to match it to a pattern because it gives me a great foundation to have a guide on how to cut and prepare my fabric. And sometimes if you don't have a pattern, you can hack patterns, mix and match pieces. Like maybe you want the bodice of one item and the bottom of another. You could do different things to achieve the look that you want. So sometimes that is also something that I may do, is hack a pattern to achieve the look that I would like to have. Next, I measure myself. I measure myself every time that I get ready to cut a pattern. I take my most important measurements. I feel like I do my bust and I do my hips, and whatever else that may need to be done at the time. So for whatever reason, I always do this just to make sure that I'm on point and I'm cutting the correct size. So I could cut a pattern on a Monday and then maybe cut another pattern on Wednesday. Even though I just cut one on Monday, I still like to measure with each pattern. That's just a habit that I have. That's a habit that I've got myself into. So that is the next thing that I do. Once I have picked my pattern, I measure myself so I can pick the correct size. If you are new to sewing, please understand that the sizes on the back are not the same as ready to wear sizes. When you're sewing, your sizes is going to go by your body measurements. Not, I wear size 12 in the store, so I'm a size 12 on the pattern. That's not how it works. It works by your body measurements. You may be a 38 in the bust, so you may have to cut out a 14 or a 16. It just depends on what it is that you're making. So once I've done that, the next thing that I like to do is get my fabrics out. So when I purchase my fabric, I don't go and throw all of them in the wash or anything. I fold them up and I put them on the shelf. When I get ready to use them is when I wash them. So I'll choose from my stash, or I'll purchase new fabric, whichever, I need to do at the time to achieve the look that I'm looking for. And then I'll wash the garment and I'll dry the garment, and then I will lay the garment out to pin my pattern pieces to it and to get started with cutting and putting the pieces together. But one more thing that I do this before I start cutting, is before I cut out the pattern, I usually read the instructions at that time. I like to go through the entire thing of instructions. If it's something I don't understand, I'll try to go through it again. But if it's something that I feel like I can wing it, sometimes I do make up my own thing. So that is something that I do prior to cutting out the pattern. And once I've done all of this, I construct my garment. And I feel like I'm doing well in my sewing journey. For the most part, I am excited about what happens at the end of my journey, and not everything works out, but I feel like that is a part of the learning curve with sewing or anything. So that is all that I do to prepare for a sewing project. There are times where I may have like 3 different patterns that I want to get into. So if I have 3 different patterns, I do sometimes break down the process. I'll do the measurements and cut all the pattern pieces out on that one day, and then cut out the and put them in a large Ziploc bags. I get the 2-gallon Ziploc bags from the Dollar Tree. Like $1.25, I think you get 10. So I'll get the 2-gallon bags and stuff that in there, as well as then I'll pull the notions and everything that pattern requires. And then the next day I can just pull a bag and get to working on one of the maybe 3 patterns that I've already cut out as well. But other than that, that is all I do. It's super simple, and this is just a little format that I came up with on how I do my pattern. I feel like the most important tip that I can give you from my ritual is to make sure that you try to read your pattern instructions all the way through. Even if you don't know it, I found out even by not knowing it, seeing stuff over and over again, watching tutorials, at some point, whatever that meant, it'll click me like, aha, you have your aha moment, and then you'll know the next time. So that would be my tip from my preparation process, is to always try to read through your patterns. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I would like to say thank you to Denise from Denise the Sloth Sewist. She's a YouTuber here. She's a vlogger here on YouTube. And thank her for creating this hashtag. And I'd like to thank Mo from Sketch So Mo for tagging me. Before I go, I would like to tag 2 people with this challenge, and that is Legionnaire Barnes and Lara from Sewing Up Styles. I'm passing it on to you ladies so we can so you can tell us about how you guys prepare for a sewing project. With that being said, if you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you can be notified anytime I upload a video. But as always, thank you for coming, and just remember, you are so awesome. Have a great day.